Welcome, everybody. So nice to have you here. And you have one of the best TNL students. He's like, I always get to sit next to him because he's so smart and he writes everything, and you ask a question and he knows it. So you have a really good facilitator and teacher. Stephen's been at TNL for about 10 years. And he's been through the basic programs, and he especially likes Buddhist philosophy and psychology. So he's taken more advanced things too. And we're hoping that he's going to be one of our teachers for some of the other programs we have as well, once the center opens up. So thank you for being here. If you have a question, just either raise your hand and you can unmute and ask, or if you want to put it in the chat, you can do that, and I'll make sure Stephen gets it. Okay.
Well, let's see. There we go, that's better. All right, so I'll just give you a quick rundown of the course you're about to experience. So just relax and make yourself comfortable. And again, feel free to use Nancy. So if you've got questions, by all means, just go ahead and just let us know, and we'll stop and do our best to answer them. But thank you so much for that introduction, Nancy. I think it's a little bit exaggerated. This is Buddhist Meditation 101. And first I'll start with an intro, just saying what this course is, who it's for, and what the goal is, how the classes are set up, so you know everything that's going to happen. That's it there. Then once I've done a quick intro, we'll get right into meditation. So we'll do a preparatory meditation called scanning the body, and then talk a little bit about how you sit in meditation. It'll be very simple. And then we'll have a Q&A. After that, diving into the pool, we're going to have some instruction and talk a little bit more about what meditation is, what its purpose is, time and place for meditation. Again, we'll go over the posture because it is fairly important, and I'll explain why. And then we'll talk about the meditation skills. I think, Sarah, I mentioned this. We're going to be talking about both concentration and mindfulness, which are the two critical skills in meditation, and they support each other. So they're reciprocal. And then we'll talk about meditation habit. And this is actually kind of generic advice about how to establish a good habit. Some of the stuff that I've gleaned over time. Then after the instruction is done, we'll have a break, and then we'll do two more meditations, one concentration meditation and one mindfulness meditation, so you can actually experience the difference. Have some more time for questions and answers, and then there's optional homework. That is basically making it part of your daily routine. So just taking your meditation posture and calming your mind. You can do that by the end of these 4 weeks, then that would be great. We're going to offer a lot more as well. So this course is an introduction to a few basic Buddhist meditation techniques. So as you've just seen, it involves instruction with actual meditation exercises. And we're going to look at these meditation topics over the next 4 weeks: preparing for meditation, breathing meditations, the two fundamental skills, which are concentration and mindfulness, and different meditations that emphasize one or the other or use both. After that, we'll get into visualization meditation. I think that comes in the third class. Analytical meditation, and how to make meditation a habit. So this course is for complete beginners, but if you've been going to Kagyu Gompa for 20 years, you're still welcome. It might help give you like a slightly different perspective. And often I get students who have meditated for a while, but things in their lives have caused them to give up meditation for a while, and they just want a refresher. So that's another reason why you might want to sit in on this course. As I stressed before, you don't need to be a Buddhist or meditate on Buddhism. I might talk a little bit about it, but that is just to explain some of the reasonings behind some of the techniques I'm going to teach. Of course, you're welcome to ask questions, and those are very welcome. One final thing, students can come for all, some, or only one session. So if you find that, this maybe the style of teaching or whatever the topic isn't to your taste, that's fine. And also if, you get busy and you happen to miss a course, that's okay. Or miss a class rather, that's okay. You can always come back to the following class, although we just have 4 classes. Now, the goal of the course is to give a basic understanding and tools to develop your own meditation practice. So like I said before, the nuts and bolts of meditating, what's going to happen in your mind, what you might experience, how to work with that, and so on. And with that experience and information, you'll be able to develop a meditation practice that can suit your needs and wants. So again, you don't have to end up meditating on Buddhism. Maybe if you just want to calm your mind, maybe if you want to increase your concentration and focus, maybe if you just want to be more aware of what's happening in your mind and how your mind works, or maybe if there's certain things in your mind that you want to either, you want to improve or strengthen. All of those goals are concordant with what we have in this course today. And I just encourage you sharing your questions and impressions as we do these meditations is really welcome. And it's a good way to help you and others learn better. Now, just some basic stuff. The classes are 4 Thursdays in August, 7 to 8:30. I really try and keep to the schedule as well. So I try not to go over. I may go over by like 5 minutes or so. There's a lot of material though. And it's 4 weeks in duration. One thing I want to say is that if you're thinking about establishing a habit, even if you start, tonight or tomorrow, it can take longer than the length of this course to actually develop a habit. Scientific studies have shown that it can take, say, between a month and a year sometimes to develop a habit. The class itself is going to be 90 minutes long, 3 parts with 2 5-minute breaks in between. And yeah, that's really all I have to let you know about the introduction. What I'm going to do is do a meditation next, but before that, are there any questions, something that I said that wasn't clear, or maybe I missed out altogether? Excellent. Oh, I think Louis, did you have a question, Louis?
Yes, on the slide you showed, it was mentioning handouts and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for getting that.
And I looked at the materials and there was no materials link. So
there's no materials in the web page. I signed on to the website today and I noticed they hadn't posted them. So what I'll do is I'll do 2 things. I've done one thing already, and Nancy has helped me with this, is we've asked them to post it on the website. So it'll be there, within the next week before the next class. And what I'll also do, and someone please remind me if I forget, is also I will take the 4 handouts we have for today and just put them in the chat. They're just PDF files, so they'll go in the chat and then you can download them. And if that doesn't work for you, you can just direct message in Zoom, just direct message your email and I'll email them to you. So you're going to get your handouts. Thanks for bringing that up, Louis. Okay, so what we're going to do now is dive right into meditation. And so this first meditation it's actually a preparatory meditation. It's called scanning the body. So it doesn't really directly involve your mind. We're just going to kind of look at our body and the sensations that go through it. How I'm going to do these meditations is they're going to have 4 parts, and every meditation will have 4 parts. I'll explain why they have 4 parts, but we'll begin by sitting and calming the mind. That's the first one. Then the second one is setting our motivation. That is kind of the direction and goals of our session. Then the third part is to do the actual meditation. Here it's called scanning the body. And the fourth is the dedication. And that's where we kind of appreciate all of the work we've done and also try and create a positive memory. And that helps with building a habit to meditate. So what I'll do is to avoid any kind of distractions or anything, I'll just turn my camera off just for the duration of the meditation and then turn it back on. At the end of the meditation, I'll also ring a chime. So if you go so deep that, that you're not sure when the meditation is over, then just listen for the chime. And there's no doubt you can read and practice these meditations yourself once you get the handouts. The aim here is to introduce you and take you through different meditations, explain their uses, and answer any questions, and deal with any challenges, difficulties, or impressions that come up during those meditations. So again, feel free to share your impressions and ask questions. Okay, so here we go. Let's meditate. So take a meditation posture that's comfortable, relaxed, upright, and alert. So if you can, have your back straight and sit forward. If you're in a chair, sit forward away from the back of the chair. Now, what we'll do is I will discuss the meditation posture a little bit later. So just do whatever you feel is comfortable. That's really the key. So focus your attention on your breathing. Just breathe naturally. Don't try and force it. Don't try and lengthen it or shorten it. Just breathe naturally. The reason you do this is just to become present in the moment and in the place where you are. You might even want to, with your eyes partly closed or even fully closed, just kind of appreciate the air around you. If there's any scents, maybe you have a window open and can smell, leaves or trees outside. Maybe there's certain sounds. Just kind of use those sensory impressions to bring yourself into the present. As you breathe, just focus your mind on the rising and falling of your shoulders and chest as you inhale and exhale gently and naturally. Allow your mind to settle and become calm and present, ready to engage in meditation. So we've begun to calm our mind. That's the first part of our meditation session. Now we look at our motivation. Let's see if we can create an altruistic motivation for this session. How you would do that is you would think that You are meditating not just for your own individual benefit, but you're taking the time now to meditate and develop your mind to become a wiser and kinder person. Maybe someone who can help others meditate. Someone who can be able to be of benefit to all beings, yourself included. Now we go to the main body of the meditation, where we just focus our attention on our physical body. Check your sitting position and see if you need to maybe move or adjust a little bit in order to become more comfortable, relaxed, but alert. Focus your attention on the lowermost point of your body, where your body is in contact with the earth. Feel the substance and earthy character of your body. Now concentrate for a moment on that contact, on the weight and substance of this physical form. Pay attention to the character of your mind, your consciousness, that is, while focusing here. Now slowly and mindfully move your attention upward through your body. Pay close attention to every aspect of your body, your physical sensations. Note areas of tension and relax them. Note sensations of coolness or warmth. Note places where one part of your body is touching another. So you would move upward through your legs, through your hips, your hands if they're in your lap. Move upward, your belly, your waist, the curves of your arms. Continue to move upward. Notice the rising and falling of your chest with your breathing. Keep moving upward, slowly, mindfully. Pay special attention to your shoulders, neck, and jaw. If there's tension there, just relax those areas. You can even imagine that you're breathing into those areas in order to help relax them. Move still upward until you reach the crown of your head. As your attention rests at your crown for a moment, pay attention to the character of your mind, your consciousness, while focusing here. Is your mind's character different while concentrating here than when it was while you were focusing on the lowermost point of your body? What's the difference? Now slowly move your attention back downward through your body in the same way. Move slowly, mindfully, noting everything about your body as you move your attention back downward. Bring your attention all the way back down to the cushion or floor, where your body is in contact with the earth. Again, focus your concentration at this point and note the character of your consciousness when focusing here. Again, note the nature of your mind state when concentrating here, and any differences from your mind state when concentrating at your crown. That's the end of the meditation. I'll just ring the chime. And finally, at the end of the meditation, we dedicate. So here, we just take our positive energy that we developed during this brief session and any insights, and we think about, we just remember the work we did in the session, and then our experience, our positive experience. Well, that was our first meditation session for the course. Were there any impressions or questions? Anything strange happen?
I really like doing the body scans because I don't know about anyone else, but like certain places that hold a lot of tension, it just really brings your attention to those spots. Like, especially when you said like unclench your jaw, and I was like, wow, I realized like how much I was just holding on to it so much. So it's so nice to just like release that, you know?
Thank you very much, Sarah, for that comment. That's actually a really incisive comment. You might be wondering, well, okay, so we're supposed to be calming the mind is the first thing. Well, since our mind is in our, is in our body, even before that, and I didn't mention that, we have to also relax our body. So that's why this is called a preparatory meditation. Just helps us get rid of all of the stress and tension and so on. So that's a great question, and that's something that you almost end up doing automatically at the beginning of a meditation session. You just sit on the cushion and you kind of squirm around a little bit, maybe drop your shoulders, that kind of stuff, just to get relaxed. And then it sort of happens gradually. As you're calming the mind, the body will calm as well, and vice versa. Any other questions? All right, well, we'll just jump very quickly into the 7-point meditation posture. So these are 7 points that you can check out yourself and see if they help you feel comfortable and stable in your meditation seat. That is the goal, to be comfortable and stable. But they have 7 points, and I'll sort of do this from the perspective that you're seated in a chair. If you are maybe more comfortable seated on a cushion on the floor, then you'll probably know how to adjust these. But most beginners begin in a chair, and that is just fine. There's actually 4 different meditation postures that you can use, but we'll just talk about seated. And your legs and feet. Well, your feet are flat on the floor, You might want to have them on a cushion, depending on the geometry, just so that your thighs are well supported by the seat. If you're sitting slightly forward away from the seat back, so this helps keep your spine straight and erect, and also it helps you stay alert as well, so you don't get sleepy during your meditation session. Now, if you're sitting cross-legged or kneeling, you might want to have a cushion. There's a whole variety of things, and if you've got any specific questions, I'm happy to answer them. But you're sitting cross-legged. You might even be kneeling if you do it in the Japanese and the Zen style. You have a cushion for support. And so that's what you do with the legs and feet. Your arms are resting in your lap or on your thighs with your shoulders gently down. So your shoulders should be relaxed, and it's just kind of like your arms are just hanging like loose noodles, from your shoulders. Your shoulder's going to be a little bit back a little bit. I'll talk about that. So your shoulders are relaxed. And if you want to try out the formal meditation posture, how it works is I take my left hand and I put my right hand in it, and then I touch the two thumbs, and those go in your lap. And that's the formal posture. Whatever you're most comfortable with, whatever makes you feel stable. Now the spine. Now this is the most important thing. It should be upright, strong, and relaxed. And you can imagine it like a stack of heavy gold coins. All the vertebrae are like heavy gold coins, maybe like pirate doubloons all stacked up. Just sort of nice and heavy, but strong as well. Relaxed and natural curve. So again, you don't want to make your back too rigid or too straight. It should have a natural curve. And what you think about here is the spine supporting the rest of your body, kind of like a coat tree supports the coats that hang loosely off of that. So what I like to do is kind of an additional instruction is when I'm sitting, with a kind of a natural spine, I also like to bring my shoulders just a little bit back and down. It's almost as if I'm scooping a little bit with my shoulder blades, with my scapula, just to kind of bring in some support into my heart and lungs. And that also helps with a good natural upright curve on the spine. Eyes. What should we do with the eyes? Well, if you're a beginner, it's probably best to have them closed because that eliminates distraction. But you can also just have them slightly open. This might take a little bit of practice. You'll find that your eyes will flicker if you're not used to it. But pretty quickly, you'll be able to keep your eyes slightly open. Again, in the beginning, it's easier to concentrate with your eyes closed, less distraction. But as you become more relaxed and comfortable, keep them slightly open because this will prevent you getting drowsy. And drooping eyelids is also a signal that you need to apply some kind of antidote to sleepiness or drowsiness. And we'll talk about those in later classes. Also, the body connects closed eyes with sleep time. So keeping the eyes slightly open avoids this. And a final Buddhist part to this is the Buddhist perspective is that it provides a connection to and a reminder of our activities off of the meditation seat or cushion. So you just have this little kind of connection to the world outside as well as the universe inside. Your lips, jaw, teeth, and mouth. Well, your lips are lightly touching, your jaw is relaxed, your teeth are almost touching. Of course, you're not gritting your jaw or anything like that. And yeah, we can really benefit. Everyone can benefit by revisiting our jaw and our neckline because it seems like stress naturally gathers there. And then I learned this. Yeah, I learned this from a Sakya monk, and he said you should have a gentle smile on your face because what that does is that just kind of elevates your mood and just kind of, I think it actually looks pretty cool too, but it's just And someone I remember called it the smile of the dragon. But just have a gentle smile on your face as well. And then finally, there's not finally, sorry, the 6 out of the 7 is the tongue. And the tongue, what they recommend is you place it touching the upper palate behind the top front teeth. And there's 2 reasons for this. One is to reduce swallowing. You'll find as your sessions go longer and longer, you're more comfortable sitting for a longer period of time, that your mouth might dry out, or you might start swallowing a lot, and that kind of gets distracting. So that's where they suggest you place your tongue. And also, your pineal gland is up there just above your palate. And so by placing your tongue there, it gently stimulates the brain, and that will help, of course, with drowsiness. Finally, your head is slightly inclined forward, but the chin is gently pulled in. So your head isn't perched over. Again, it's well supported. The chin is pulled in. And again, the gaze of the eyes is maybe, if you're on a chair, it's maybe 10 feet in 10 feet in front of you on the floor. Or if you're sitting, maybe 6 feet in front of you on the floor. That's where your eyes are looking, even if your eyes are closed. Well, there's just one additional point. The 8th point out of 7 is that when you're breathing, your breathing is through the nose. It's soft and quiet and natural as it can be. Well, those are the 7 points, the 7 meditation posture points. We're going to go over them again, so don't feel like, oh, I can't remember what number 4 was. It'll be okay. And you can always ask any questions if you like as well. And that's my cue. Anyone have any questions about that, or particular, like maybe physical situations, discomforts, anything like that? Okay, perfect. All right, well, again, you can always interrupt and let us know if you've got a question. What I'm going to do now is just have like a 5-minute break before I get into the instruction. So what I recommend for the breaks is totally up to you, of course. You know, you can flip off your camera. Yeah, just don't look at any devices. Just relax, get up, have a glass of water, look outside through the window, just try and preserve the calm mind. So I'm going to start up a clock. And see you in 5. Welcome back, everyone. So now we'll have a little bit of instruction. And again, jump in if you've got any questions or anything you want to share. But right now, I'll just say a few words about what is meditation. Well, it's a huge topic. There's whole bookshelves. I mean, I'm sure you could find like a section in a bookstore about meditation techniques. Many religious traditions, have their own practices, and it can be used outside of religion and outside of spiritual practices just for relaxation. It's used in the medical field for the reduction of pain and stress and so on. I'm sure, if you've been thinking about meditation and had the kindness to come to our meditation class, you must have noticed, newspaper articles, email stories, all kinds of information about meditation. But what is it really? Well, it's more than just sitting and focusing on an object of meditation, for example, your breath. It includes reflection, that is thinking, reasoning, even fantasizing. It is used in prayer. You could use it for studying to, sort of run through certain things in your mind. You could use a meditative state to focus on personal or work tasks, visualizing an activity, visualizing an image, or just merely being aware of the sensations and thoughts that flow through your mind, the state of your mind. So that's a broad definition of meditation. And pretty much we've all done some form of meditation, whether we knew it or not already. So that's good. We'll just give you a little, a few tools and maybe a little bit of structure to it, so you can sort out what's happening in your mind. The Tibetan word for meditation is gom. It's transliterated G-O-M, and it means becoming familiar. And what they mean there is becoming familiar with how our thoughts, emotions, and perceptions work. So we can understand a little bit like what's going on up there in the monkey house. But from the traditional perspective, what meditation is, the point of meditation is becoming more familiar with the positive aspects and less familiar with the negative aspects of your mind, more familiar with the thoughts that bring happiness and less familiar with the thoughts that bring us discomfort, suffering, pain. So this is really a form of training the mind. So we use meditation, looking at the mind, in order to build, meditation is a habit in itself, but what we're also looking at eventually is to use meditation to build positive and helpful mental habits. Getting rid of those thoughts that we know don't help at all, and trying to cultivate the thoughts that we know through experience and through analysis are helpful to us. I went, during the first meditation we did, I went over the 4 parts. Those are calming the mind, which really is just where you relax your body and make your mind clear, calm, attentive, and present. So that's just the first phase. And we got to do that. I mean, that's the basis of meditation. If you rush that phase, then it's not going to go so well afterwards. And we'll talk about how to prepare for that and some of the things you can do. The whole idea here, just for calming the mind, is you want to put your mind into a calm and settled state so it becomes neutral. It's sort of like a blank canvas. So when the mind is in that neutral state, it's easier to move it to a positive state in the next step of the meditation. And the final thing is, even if you don't do any of the meditation handouts, if all you do is sit down and do the sitting and calming the mind, this is a great place to start building a meditation habit, strengthening a habit you already have. You want to reset your practice, or maybe, you're just rushed, you're just not in a good place. You don't have enough time. There's too many things going on. It's late in the evening and you just have like 5-10 minutes. Just sit down and calm your mind. You can try it anyways. That's the first part, calming the mind. The second part of the meditation session is the motivation. And this is where we generate the energy and the resolve, because, meditation it's a deliberate practice. It's a focused practice. So we don't just let our minds run around, like a rabbit in a field. We really actually have a goal for the meditation session. And really, it's up to you what that goal is. But there's a goal in a meditation session. An example of that might be to recall how you benefited before from meditating. And you find that it helps you be a wiser, a kinder, a better person, and how that helps you help others and their reactions to that. So that's something you could use to inspire, energize, and focus your practice. Just experientially, through your own experience. You've seen these things happen, and so you remember that, recall that to mind, and use that as your motivation. Then there's the actual meditation, rather. And then finally, there's a dedication portion of it. And this is where we appreciate and rejoice in the positive energy and the insight that we created ourselves into our own minds, that we created in that session, and fixing that positive experience in our memory. Why we do that is so that we have a positive memory of our last session. And then when we think, oh, it's time to meditate again, we have that positive memory, and that helps us get on the cushion again. So those are the 4 parts, and we'll go over them a lot. So don't worry, like you don't have to memorize them or anything. We're just going to go over them. And after you get used to them, they kind of feel natural. They have sort of a natural flow, but also a logic to them. When we talked about what meditation is and what its parts are, why would we even do it, though? Well, I can throw out a few benefits, and you might have encountered your own benefits, looking at websites or doing web searches about meditation, or maybe talking to other people and who have said, oh yeah, meditation's great, you should try it. So here are some reasons, but really it's up to you. I mean, it's got to help you. It has to do something positive for you. And whatever that is, that's your choice, your decision. But what I've found, and I think what many people have found, that it can sometimes give us a temporary release from stress and confusion of modern life. I think we're all like a little bit experienced with that. So, well, how does it do that? Well, we've already learned how to calm our mind pretty quickly in just like a few minutes. And as we get more experience, and as I give you more tools and techniques, you'll be able to calm your mind quickly and effectively. In the end, it's up to you practicing it. But for example, if you use simple breathing techniques, it brings us into the present, it relaxes us, it reduces stress. And you don't have to be on a meditation seat to do that. Although I would recommend, if you're driving, keep your eyes open. The second benefit is the skills we develop in meditation, particularly concentration and mindfulness, are helpful in just about any situation we encounter in our daily lives. So this is making the connection from the meditation seat or cushion into the rest of our life. So you can imagine, well, what would it be like if, I could just improve my concentration 10%? Just that ability to focus and stay with my idea, the topic, the mental object, just a little bit. How would that help me? And also mindfulness. And here, when I say mindfulness, I'm using the the more popular definition of mindfulness, which is not the technical definition you sometimes run across in Tibetan studies. So what I mean by that is just sort of an open awareness that is non-judgmental and just accepts things as they come, observing and possibly even analyzing, but just letting the flow happen, not trying to block the mental stream at all. So that's what I mean by mindfulness here, and we'll use it in that context consistently throughout the course. So you could think, if I could just remain calm and just have a little bit of distance between the emotions that I have in my mind every day, just be aware of how those emotions are affecting my reasoning and my behavior. Well, that would be pretty useful. And so that's an example of how mindfulness could help you. And finally, meditation lets us calmly and clearly examine, understand, and train our minds from within in just exactly that method I described about becoming familiar with the more positive mental processes and less familiar just by suppressing them or avoiding them, less familiar with negative mental processes, and then sort of changing your mental landscape, changing your mental habits through meditation. So hopefully what the goal of all of us is I think over the long term that we want to develop the personal qualities we value. And we develop those personal qualities by practicing meditations that promote these qualities. And they benefit us and they benefit those around us. Those are some of the what I think are the benefits of meditation, but you may discover completely different ones that I didn't even touch on, and that's great. Just to explain a little bit from a Buddhist perspective, just so you know where we're coming from. In Buddhism, the mind itself is often the main focus of meditation. So getting familiar with the mind, understanding how it works, and slowly reducing its negative aspects, who knows, anger, jealousy, greed, over-attachment, slowly reducing those negative aspects and strengthening the positive qualities, like, I don't know, let's say tolerance or patience, which is in a way a synonym. We could say generosity. We could say just, ethical behavior, restraint is another way of saying that. What if we could improve those qualities just by meditating? That would be pretty amazing. So Buddhist meditation is a method to take, and I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. The second kind of thread here in Buddhist meditation is it's also a method to take a superficial understanding of some idea, in this case, some aspect of what Buddhists call Dharma, that is just Buddhist teachings, and imprinting it deeply into the mind. Doesn't have to be a Buddhist teaching, it could be any kind of teaching. It could be a Christian teaching, it could be an academic subject, it could be a personal experience that you want to make part of the fabric of your being. Meditation can be used to imprint it deeply into your mind and bring it to a level of understanding called a full realization. So the time and place for meditation. Well, when do you do it? How long do you do it for? Where do you do it? Well, it kind of depends on you. It depends on your schedule and your body clock. A lot of people like to meditate in the morning, not too early. Some people like really early. It could be in the evening. It's however your body works and however your schedule is set up. That's not really concrete advice. The concrete advice I could give you is look at your habitual daily routine, something that is already a habit for you. And then find a regular time in that habitual daily routine where meditation will fit naturally for you. And that way, you use an existing habit in order to support a new habit. And when you're just starting meditation, it's best just to start small. So choose a particular time. And when I say small, it could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Part of it will be getting used to being in meditation posture. Part of it will be getting used to being alone with your own mind for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes. So choose a time, and you can have incredible results with even just a short amount of time, like 5, 10, 15 minutes. As long as you do it consistently on a daily basis. That's the real key. So you want to set up a calm and pleasant environment for your meditation practice. And again, this is up to you, whatever makes you feel calm and like you're in a pleasant place. Sometimes people like to clean and declutter. You can even use cleaning and decluttering as a routine to settle your mind prior to a meditation session. So it's like pre-calming the mind. You want to have minimal distractions, quiet and subdued lighting usually. And if you've got inspirational objects, they can be any type of object. Photographs, of people you care for deeply, pets, I don't know, certain, objects, maybe places that you visited once and you think you want to go back to and just make you feel great. Well, that's it. And then finally, a comfortable seat. And here, I think the trick is to, have it set up so that it's very easy. As soon as you get the idea, and before there's time to overthink or remember all of those 100 other things you want to do, you can just get down in your seat and start meditating. Quick as possible, like not even a second. Just say, okay, I'm meditating. That other stuff, it'll come back. That's some advice on the time and place for meditation. Any questions before we go on? Excellent. Well, now I'm going to go over the 2 fundamental meditation skills. And this is now diving a little bit more into the nuts and bolts of meditation. What's actually going on out there? What are we trying to do? What's happening? So in the 2 fundamental meditation skills are concentration and mindfulness. Concentration, you probably guessed already what it is, but I'll define it for you. It's the single-pointed attention to a mental object or a mental image, or it could even be a physical sensation like the breath or some other sensation in your body. It could be a visualization. Maybe you're visualizing a place, or really anything else. But the key here is it's single-pointed, and you're just trying to hold it in your mind. So you're not thinking about it, you're not analyzing it or conceptualizing it or embroidering stories around it. It's just there where your mind is dwelling. Sounds easy. No, it's not really easy at all. So you're doing really well if you can just keep your attention on a single object, whatever you choose, a single object for a few seconds. But it's okay. Don't let that freak you out. It's okay. So the single pointed attention, you select an object and you hold your mind without moving off of it. There's kind of qualities when you're concentrating. And there's nothing like mystical or spiritual or esoteric about these. Basically, concentration, you can check this out yourself anytime, when you're concentrating on something. The aspects of concentration are stability, clarity, and intensity. So stability just means you're locked on, right? You're locked onto the object. Clarity means you can see it clearly. Let's use an example. Suppose you're imagining, suppose you're imagining like a piece of art or a statue that you have. Maybe you've got like a paperweight on your desk and you decide, I'm gonna practice meditation by trying to bring that mental image to mind. And so if you're able to stay on that without your mind like thinking about, oh, wouldn't it be nice to have some crackers now? Or, oh, I'm thinking about being on the beach in the Bahamas. Well, if you can stay on that object, that's stability. Clarity means you can see it clearly. All of its details, all of its qualities are something that you can picture clearly in your mind. And then there's intensity, which kind of follows clarity. And intensity means like it's really there for you. It's right there. It's not like kind of distant, maybe swimming around a little bit. It's right there. You're engaged with that object. So those are the three key aspects of concentration. And we'll be looking at those more. Basically, you just want to dwell. I mean, that's the end goal, they say. The end goal is you just rest your mind on the object and it just dwells there. It just rests in non-distraction. But that takes a lot of practice. That's the first major skill. The second major skill is mindfulness. And what I mean here is sometimes, mindfulness is a word that's used a lot. But here I mean an inner awareness, an observation of the stream of consciousness, thoughts, emotions, reactions, even the qualities of concentration I just talked about, stability, clarity, and intensity. Even it's just an inner awareness and observation of all of those things that are going on in your mind. You could call it introspection. It observes what's going on in our minds, like, say, a tourist or a scientist, checking, for example, like I gave, checking the quality of concentration and tuning it, or noticing that you're not even thinking about the thing that you wanted to think about. And so you're distracted, and then you gently bring your concentration back to the object. So it's kind of almost like a cool background awareness, observing, monitoring, noticing, accepting what's going on, because you don't want to get into fighting with your mind, because if you get in a fight with your mind, you're going to lose. So you just want to accept it, tune your concentration, and return to the object. These skills interact, so they're interrelated and complementary. So in an eddy meditation, you're going to use both of those skills, whether you're aware of it or not, actually, because those are happening in your mind already. You know that you have concentration. Sometimes, if you're like me, it might not be so good, but you also know you have mindfulness. I'm aware that I'm distracted. I'm aware that I'm tired or something like that. I'm aware that I keep thinking about that same thought that really has no benefit for myself. So these two skills interact, and it shouldn't, maybe it's a revelation, but they're already happening in your mind. So, for example, concentration can help mindfulness. If you're able to concentrate your mind through practice, that means you can place your mind and keep it stable. When your mind is stable and has relatively few distractions, then you can use mindfulness to observe more effectively. If your mind is bouncing all around and there's no stability, there's no concentration, thoughts are just like, besieging you, then it's going to be a lot harder to really even see what's going on. So developing concentration is going to support mindfulness. And mindfulness can help you with your concentration because it will identify when you are distracted, when your concentration has a poor quality, for example. And then you'll have antidotes that we'll talk about to reestablish your stable concentration, how to deal with, tiredness, laxity, distraction, dullness, or excitement, distraction, all that kind of stuff. I think what I'll do now is let's have another break, unless there's questions first. Any questions? That's great. We're communicating. So we'll have a 5-minute break. And again, just relax, glass of water, walk around, that kind of stuff. See you soon. I'll put the clock up in a second. Welcome back, everyone. Any questions that have come up with anyone after the pretty short break that we had? No? Okay, that's great. We will get into 2 meditations. So we're going to do first counting the breaths, which is a concentration meditation. And the second is called the bear mindfulness exercise. So that's going to be obviously a mindfulness exercise. After that, I'll give you a few suggestions about what you might want to try at home, and then share the handouts with you through the chat. I'm going to go through these meditations a little bit quickly because I want to respect your time and finish as close to 8:30 as I can. But then after that, if you want to stick around and ask questions or, make requests for like topics you want me to cover or anything like that, feel free to do that. Okay, so we have first counting the breaths. It's a concentration meditation. And if you recollect, concentration is one of the 2 critical skills in meditation. That's very simple. It's just like what it sounds like. It's just placing your attention on one thing and leaving it there. So that sounds easy, but it's not. So we'll try it and see how it goes. Again, I'll just turn off my video so there's no distractions, and I'll lead you through the meditation. And then I think we'll go, it's okay, right into the bear mindfulness exercise as well. So you can maybe contrast the 2. Here we go. So counting the breaths. So again, we begin by calming our mind. And this is a time where you also, if any parts of the meditation posture that you found useful or that you remember, just try those. Again, the most important is the spine. So just an upright spine, freestanding, shoulders down and back a little bit. The chin is slightly down, but it's also in. So your head is comfortable. It's not perched forward. So focus your attention on your breathing. Just breathe naturally. Focus the mind on the rising and falling of your shoulders and chest as you inhale and exhale gently. And this is where you allow your mind to settle and become calm and present. You need to squirm a little bit to get more comfortable. That's okay. Maybe in order to get present, you just want to, just feel the temperature of the air or smell it. Maybe there's summer smells from outside or something like that. Maybe there's just like soft sounds, just anything to bring you into the present. They say when you get good at calming your mind, you can do it in as little time as it takes to do 21 breaths. But sometimes it can take longer. So here I recommend you do this meditation yourself. Just experiment. Find out how long it takes you to calm your mind under different situations. Now we create a motivation. And this is to bring energy to us. and also give us some direction, not only direction, but also resolve as to what we want to do during this session we're going to have. And one of the things you can do is to create an altruistic motivation. And that can be pretty simple. Here, you can just think that we are meditating for our own individual benefit, and also taking this time and making this effort to meditate and develop our minds to become a wiser and kinder person in order to benefit others around us as well. Again, this is the counting the breaths meditation. So it's meant to help you build your concentration. So here in the main body of the meditation, we start by focusing our attention at the opening of the nostrils. That is our point of concentration, just there. But there's a lot to notice. Pay attention to the very subtle sensations as you breathe in and out through your nose. Just breathe naturally. You can feel certain sensations as the air passes, as the small hairs move, cooler sensations as you inhale, warmer as you exhale. Don't follow the air into your body or out into the surrounding environment. Place your attention on the sensations associated with the breath at the opening of your nostrils. Your job is to keep your attention firmly concentrated on those sensations only. Now, as you inhale and exhale, mentally count each inhalation and exhalation together as one. Count from 1 to 10, concentrating on those sensations. So inhale, exhale, 1, and so on. When you reach 10, begin again at 1. If you become distracted, if the mind wanders to other things and moves away from the point of concentration, you are totally normal. Just begin again at 1. Even if you never get past 2, it is not a problem. The point is to train your mind to focus on one point only. And then, when it inevitably moves away, recognize that and gently bring it back. That sequence is the practice of meditation, concentration meditation. So concentration can take some practice to attain. we'll complete the meditation here and just move directly to the bare mindfulness exercise. So if you need to, just move around a little bit, make sure you're comfortable. You might want to open your eyes if they were closed, look around. Don't move too much. Try and maintain the concentration that you built by watching your breath. And now I'm going to try the next meditation, which is mindfulness, which is the second of the two skills in meditation. So again, even after that break, you could probably benefit from calming the mind again. You could use the concentration meditation, the counting the breaths meditation, just to calm your mind. You can even just watch your breath, or you could scan the body. Try different ones, see which one works best for you. So we're going to calm our mind and get it nice and stable before we next go to mindfulness. We're going to get there through concentration and then phase into mindfulness. Just take this time to settle the mind and bring it to a state of deeper focus and concentration, ready to engage in meditation. And now we're going to start with, well, actually, we're going to return to concentration. So start by focusing your attention at the opening of the nostrils. Again, paying attention to the very subtle sensations as you breathe in and out through your nose. Cool air as you breathe in, warmer air as you breathe out. It's natural that your mind will become distracted, be by a sensation, a sound, be by a thought. Just recognize that and gently bring the mind back to concentrating at your nostrils, breath going in and out, counting from 1 to 10. Once our mind has reached a deeper level of concentration and focus, now we loosen our concentration slightly and place greater emphasis on the element of mindfulness. What does that mean? It means just to allow your mind to be calm and stable, but attentive and observant of whatever comes to notice, regardless of what it is. It could be a sensation, it could be a thought. It could be an impression, an emotion. Just observe it, but don't identify with it. Don't embroider it. Don't augment it. Just let it pass. Watch how it arises, changes, and subsides. Just observe them like you're a tourist in a cafe, maybe, I don't know, in a mountain town in Italy. Just watching the people mill around, just observing them. But it's your thoughts and your sensations that you're observing here. If your mind gets captured by one of these thoughts, or they're coming too quickly, just return to the concentration meditation, that is counting the breaths. That's all you have to do. When your mind settles, then you can go back to exploring it with mindfulness. So that's the end of the mindfulness meditation. We'll do a quick dedication. So think about what you just experienced. Just feel the positive energy. You discover something new about your mind. Maybe your memory was refreshed. Whatever it was, you found interesting or helpful or enjoyable. Think about that for a moment. And then whatever positive emotion arises, just try and fix that in your mind. Just that feeling of, yeah, we did an hour and a half of excellent work here. We covered a lot of material. We also did a lot of different meditations. So just feel good about that. Keep that emotion in your mind. Just sort of let it kind of sink in, or let it like perfume your thoughts. So think about that for a little. Let that be your memory of the session. Well, that's the end of the class, everyone. I wanted to ask, are there any questions? Observations, impressions, complaints?
Stephen, at the beginning of the class, you had said that scanning the body was a kind of, I didn't pick up the words you used, but it sounded like you said preparatory.
Preparatory.
Oh, preparatory.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because what we're focusing on is, although we're scanning the body with the mind, I don't want to get too confusing here with self-referential. We're just looking at our physical sensations. We're not even trying to do anything with our mind or observe it. We're just like looking at our physical body, basically, you know, our tactile sensations, our bodily sensations, and using those to help get just become present here and now. And it's a great one for calming the mind, just like identifying if you brought tension onto the cushion with you, onto the seat with you. Just dealing with that before you try and work with your mind. Did that answer your question, Emily? Any other questions from anyone? Excellent. Right. Well, what I'm going to do is, if you wish, I'm going to just put the handouts into the chat. So if you go into the chat, you'll see them appear. You just open up your chat, and then I think you can click on them, and that should open them up or save them onto your computer. If you are still having difficulties, well, we're going to set it up so that you can download them by next week. Here comes the first one, scanning the body. If you're still having problems, you can always put your email address in as a direct message to me, and I'll just send them to you by email. That's scanning the body, counting the breaths. Would anyone like to tell me what kind of meditation this is? Is it a concentration or is it a mindfulness meditation?
What do you mean?
Concentration.
Yes.
Oh, you dropping in the document?
I'm dropping the documents in the chat. Okay, here's the 7-point meditation posture. It's the third handout, so you can go over that. And if there's anything that comes up, and if you're having difficulty sitting, just let me know, and we'll work through it. Nancy is actually quite, along with all of her skills and abilities, she is quite an advanced meditator. So between us, we could make it. So that's the third one, and I'm going to put the fourth one in. It's called the Bear Attention exercise. I called it the Bear Mindfulness exercise. There's no points for you if you can guess whether it is a concentration or a mindfulness. Okay, so is everyone good with the handouts? Still working on them?
Got it.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was great class. Great class.
Oh, thank you so much. That really makes me feel good because you're such a long time practitioner.
Well, I've been on and off for 20 years, so this is my refresh, and I really appreciate it because it's organized, and now I can put all these things together, and it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, good night, everyone. And if you're able, 5 minutes. Yep, thank you. Yeah, just 5 minutes a day. Calm the mind.
Thank you so much.
But like you're coming home from work in your vehicle and just before you get on the road, just calm your mind.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night,
night.
Jennifer. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yes.
Night.
Night, Glenn. Good night, Emily.